The mediating role of depression, anxiety and stress between job strain and turnover intentions among male and female teachers. Teaching, a profession that creates all other professions, has been regarded as the most significant and the noblest social service since centuries. Teachers are expected to produce such intellectuals who could contribute significantly and effectively within a society. The profession of teaching has been considered a very difficult and demanding task, whereas smaller mistakes may produce greater damages. Education, after the rapid advancements in technology, is now being considered as an industry. Teachers, therefore, are generally regarded as paid workers like any other industry. Students, on the other hand, are considered as customers and comparatively are of a higher worth than teachers, especially in private sector institutes. Consequently, the role of mentoring and character building of pupils has been practically taken out from the job description of a teacher. Teacher, serving just as a facilitator to assist students in memorizing certain topics, has significantly lost his scholastic worth. The same lower levels of self-esteem and lesser self-recognition along with other job-related problems put teachers in a state of stress, anxiety and depression. Stress, in general, has become an unavoidable part of our daily lives. The term, in its core definitions, has certain explanatory ambiguities. Researchers have different viewpoints in defining and explaining stress. Some consider it a cause, and some suggest it to be an effect. The work strain or demand control model of Quranic has been a focus of various researchers in defining job stress. The model elaborated three core elements of job stress, including job demands, which are seen as the independent variables, job decision latitude, which are seen as the independent and moderating variables, and psychological strain, which are seen as the dependent variables. Quranic further suggested that high job demands with low decision-making authority would lead to psychological strain. Lazarus, another well-cited researcher within the same perspective, emphasized on human emotions. Stress, according to him, is a transactional process between an individual and his environment. Individuals may perceive stressors differently based on their emotions and priorities. Jex and colleagues did a survey to explore how job stress was taken into account by various researchers and concluded three possibly applied ways that are 1. As a stimulus or a cause, 2. As a response, and 3. As a stimulus-response process. According to Jex and colleagues, most researchers preferred to consider job stress as a stimulus-response process. Ellis considered job stress as a response which has negative effects to an individual's well-being. Jansen termed stress as response like anxiety or burnout. Job strain, occupational stress, work stress or job stress, with whatever title, has been regarded as a highly significant workplace concern by plenty of researchers. Stressors at job may vary according to the nature of work and organization. Stress at workplace could be an outcome of several possible sources, for example work overload, ambiguities in job roles, incompetent supervisors, lack of recognition, downsizing, technological difficulties, and violence. Parker and Decotes considered relationships as stressors. They also regarded work itself as a stressor. Ormond, Keown Gerard, and Klein concluded that high workload, time wasted on meetings, lack of supervisor interactions, ineffective communication, lack of feedback, lack of recognition, role ambiguity, lack of training, dissent among employees, and lack of morale were some of the common stressors in the workplace. B. Dissatisfaction with job-related assignments and environment may lead teachers to shift from one institution to another, that is teacher migration, or to quit teaching, that is attrition. Teacher turnover, since the last decade or so, has become a major concern in the field of education and is mostly indicated through the demand for teacher replacement in education sector. In United States, the National Commission on Teaching in America's Future considered teacher retention as a national crisis. The profession of teaching has been characterized as a revolving door by some researchers, emphasizing the ratio of turnover among teachers. Turnover among teachers has been widely studied, and researchers have tried to find out the factors for which turnover occurs in teaching profession. Within the profession, the teachers of special education, mathematics and science have been found to be more prone to turnover as compared with teachers of other disciplines. The age of teachers and the level of their career, in earlier studies, was also found to be positively correlated with turnover. Teachers at their mid-career were found to be lesser prone to turnover as compared with teachers at beginning or teachers near retirement. The prolonged job strain may lead teachers to certain critical mental disorders including depression, anxiety, and stress. Depression, commonly considered as an umbrella term for depressive disorders, is featured with several symptoms that seriously damage mental health. These symptoms include dysphoria, hopelessness, devaluation of life, self-deprecation, lack of interest, anhedonia, and inertia. Depressive disorders are categorized with further labels such as disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, major depressive disorder, single and recurrent episodes, persistent depressive disorder, dysthymia, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, substance medication-induced depressive disorder due to another medical condition, other specified depressive disorder, and unspecified depressive disorder. The term anxiety, like depression, is also an umbrella term referring to separation anxiety disorder, selective mutism, specific phobia, social anxiety disorder, social phobia, panic disorder, panic attack specifier, agoraphobia, generalized anxiety disorder, substance medication-induced anxiety disorder due to another medical condition, other specified anxiety disorder, and unspecified anxiety disorder. The major features of anxiety include autonomic arousal, skeletal musculature effects, and situational anxiety. Depression and anxiety along with stress are the most commonly diagnosed illnesses in psychology. Several studies have associated these syndromes to numerous negative outcomes in the workplace, such as decreased performance and satisfaction. The outcomes of depression, anxiety, and stress are also associated with negative outcomes in other aspects of life, including general satisfaction, quality of life, and social interactions. Apart from the rich literature available on job strain among teachers, the earlier studies have not touched the mediating role of depression, anxiety, and stress. Dr. Sukoon intended to explore this mediating effect. The same mediating effect has valued his study, especially in a Pakistani perspective, and has distinguishably contributed to the existing body of scientific knowledge on the understudied subject. The mediating role of depression, anxiety, and stress was assumed to be an important factor for turnover among teachers. A teacher, in other words, would not be heavily inclined towards turnover due to job strain alone, hence the intensity of job strain would have been increased to such intensified levels where the teacher could be diagnosed with depression, anxiety, or stress. This mediation, with reference to the implications of the current study, could alarm the education sector particularly and the society in general on the critical mental health-related risks to teachers caused by job dissatisfaction. The research involved 131 conveniently selected teachers belonging to different private and public sector educational institutions, including higher secondary schools, colleges, and universities of Rawalpindi and Islamabad, Pakistan. The depression, anxiety, and stress scale of Levi-Bond, the turnover intention scale of the Michigan Organizational Assessment, and the job strain scale of Parker and Decotes were administered. The findings revealed that though the job strain alone did have an effect on turnover intentions, depression, anxiety, and stress, however, this effect had increased by the mediating role of depression, anxiety, and stress. Male teachers had higher turnover intentions as compared to female teachers. Moreover, job strain had more effect on stress in female teachers as compared to male teachers, but in the cases of depression and anxiety, job stress had more effect on male teachers as compared to female teachers respectively. The aforesaid study by Dr. Sukoon has found that job strain in teachers affects their intentions of turnover. This has already been reported by several earlier studies in which different reasons for job strain are associated with turnover among employees including teachers. The reasons of job strain among the teachers have also been widely studied. Ko Yu Chung, Chan Kwok Bun, and Gina Lai, for example, have reported several factors that can create job strain among teachers. These factors include work overload, e.g. having too much to do, time pressures and deadlines to meet, no time for marking, too much administrative work, meetings, coordinating work, time spent in the institute too long, difficult job responsibility and self-expectations such as to work hard to achieve self-expectations, to produce good results, trying to uphold values and standards, coping with rapid changes in the institute, fear of making mistakes, too much thinking, to upgrade qualification, unclear job expectations, dealing with misbehaving or poorly motivated students, conflicting or insufficient support from superiors such as unfair assessment from superiors, lack of support from superiors, discrimination and favoritism, contradiction of beliefs with superiors, no authority to carry out job duties, unnecessary tasks and red tape such as to do work outside competence, to do an unnecessary task, decisions made about teachers without involving them, work delayed by unnecessary red tape, lack of consensus on minimum standards, insufficient support from colleagues such as working with incooperative or incompetent colleagues, subordinates, relationship problems with colleagues, subordinates, insufficient resources and equipment to get work done, work interfering with family and personal life such as advancing a career at the expense of home personal life, work demands affect home personal life, life is too centered on work, inadequate time for professional self-development, and low evaluation of teachers from society such as feeling of being underpaid, society does not think highly of teaching profession, etc. With reference to Pakistan, Aisha and Ramazan consider the issues of time management as the leading causes of stress among teachers. Anwar, Rosman and Cameron conducted a study on university teachers in Pakistan and identified 9 factors which led to teacher stress. These included social status of teachers, work overload, demanding students and parents, job insecurity, ever-changing educational policies, problems of performance appraisal, absence of training, and resource constraints. Rabina, Sadaf and Masood declared that school system, gender, job experience, number of family members and number of students were significant predictors of job stress in teachers. Noshina concluded that major job stressors for teachers included the absence of medical facilities at the campus, non-availability of prescribed books, computer, and internet facilities, students' poor academic background, absence of adequate office facilities, excessive official paperwork, lack of opportunities for professional development, lack of proficiency in English, little time to relax during the day, and overcrowded classes. The existing scientific literature is also quite rich to prove the prevalence of depression and stress in teachers. Shazia Zamir, in her study on Pakistani high school teachers, found a significantly negative correlation between occupational stress and job satisfaction. Another study on Pakistani high school teachers by Alamzeb, Mansoor, Nauman, and Fayaz found that female teachers and teachers in their mid-career develop more occupational stress as compared with their counterparts. They also tried to sort out the reasons of stress in teachers and concluded that inconsistency in governmental policies and instability in job lead to stress in teachers. AFIA and Usman compared stress levels between teachers of governmental and private schools in Peshawar, Pakistan, and found no significant difference in this regard. They also concluded that female teachers had more stress as compared with male teachers. Another study conducted in Pakistan by Qayyum, Manaz, Nadia and Raisa reported that teachers who were happier performed better as compared with teachers who were not happy but successful. Shanaz and Sadia conducted a study in Bakar, Pakistan and reported that female teachers had greater stress as compared with male teachers. Fozia reported that public school teachers had more job stress as compared with private school teachers. The novel part of the study conducted by Dr. Sukoon, however, was its focus on the mediating effects of depression, anxiety and stress between job strain and turnover intentions. The study, in this regard, established the mediating effects and it was proved that depression, anxiety and stress increase turnover intentions among teachers. Job strain, in other words, if accompanied by depression, anxiety or stress puts more effects on teachers to think of job change. With relation to the gender of teachers, the study has found that male teachers develop more intentions for turnover as compared with female teachers. Furthermore, job stress puts more moderating effect on the levels of stress in female teachers, and on the levels of depression and anxiety in male teachers. The findings of this study lead to another very interesting assumption that the teachers who would leave their current jobs due to job strain would have developed significant mental problems such as depression, anxiety, and stress. As their new employers would usually not assess them for their mental problems on their hiring, the teachers may carry the negative effects of their mental problems to their new environment, and this would decrease their performance as teachers. It is, therefore, suggested to the employers of educational institutions to measure the mental health of their newly hired teachers so that they could be provided with necessary psychological treatment before they carry on with their educational activities. The same is being suggested to the employers of other organizations and industries, as the same assumption could also be applicable in their case as well. Thanks for listening. To read the entire paper, kindly visit www.dersakoon.info.